Hey guys, I wanted to talk about X-Men Days of Future Past today. I saw it a couple of weeks back with my sister, and then I saw it again with my friend Finn, and I loved it. And so I'm gonna talk about it today. Now, I'll talk about what I really loved first. Number one, Quicksilver. He was only in it for a little bit, but I really think he stole the show. It was really fun, and I loved the sequence where he was running around the kitchen to, uh, displace the bullets and to disarm the guards. It was so well done. The music was great. The patterning was great, and just his sense of humor when he runs by the soup and he kind of runs his finger for it to taste it, and just it's just so great. And he was in it for a small part, but he really stole the show, and I really enjoyed that. So I look forward to the next X-Men film. I think it's Apocalypse. Yeah. And I hope to see more Quicksilver because he was fantastic, and plus he was really cute. I think it was kind of the hair and the way he smiled when the security guard found him in the elevator. And he's just like, I love that smile. It's just like, oh, you cute bastard, you're so cute. So that was really enjoyable. And what else? And of course, when Wolverine goes back in time and he wakes up and you get to see his really nice ass. Thank you, Hugh Jackman. You made that wonderful. I also enjoyed how they really went into how Mystique became, how she was transforming from Raven into Mystique. That really appealed to me, and just how she's on her own now, and she's clearing her own path. And I really love the bit when she's in France and she grabs Magneto and they're in the storage closet thing, and it's just you can totally feel the tension between them. It's like we used to be an item, and just you can feel the tension, sexual and also just actual tension, where it's like, don't you try to stop me, I'm gonna kill you. And yeah, and I really love the bit and when they confront each other towards the end of the film when she shoots him and then she kicks his ass and rips off his helmet and then she's like, he's all yours, Charles. Yeah, that was great. And also Magneto, I just and slash Eric, it's just he was great. I love it how it's like you see him in the past and he's just very like he's been locked up for 10 years and you think he's kind of you some might think he might have cooled off in those 10 years, but it's like nope, if anything he's more adamant about getting after humanity than ever now. Of course that might have been because he couldn't save JFK, so I think that's it. Like he didn't shoot JFK, he was trying to protect him, and but was his bullet the one that got caught in never mind. But anyway, he tried to save JFK because JFK was a mutant. And oh, sorry, spoilers by the way. If you haven't seen this, I'll make sure I put that in the tag somewhere. But yeah, they're spoilers. And but yeah, and he's just so. And I love it when they're up in the plane and Charles is just like, "I'm so mad at you. I don't trust you. He's freaking pissed." And then Eric just basically, he's kind of like, "Bitch, you cannot talk. You cannot say a damn thing. My friends are dead," or it's like my comrades are dead, and he's just pissed, and he basically crumbles the plane like that, and it's great because it's like Charles is just like you bastard, and then Eric's just like right back at you, buddy, because it's just, I mean, I get why Charles is so mad at him because he's lost Raven, he's lost his friend Eric, and he can't walk, and he's basically an angry guy, which is totally understandable, but Eric is just as angry, and I sympathize with him greatly, and I definitely think that's because Michael Fassbender's just a damn good actor. That's not to say that James McAvoy's not great, because McAvoy is so good too, but just I think Fassbender he really made me sympathize with Eric. Not that I don't sympathize with Charles, but just I really, and it's not just because Michael Fassbender's cute, but seriously, I just think that really shows how good of an actor he is. And I also love how Ian McKellen just shows this different side where Eric is very kind of like all of that I have tried to prevent has kind of come. Like I tried to bring change, but not this kind of change with the Sentinels and like all the mutants getting wiped out and just the world being what it is. And he's like, you need to go find me so I can help too. And that's obviously a plot. It kind of forwards the plot, but I mean, just like he wants to help sort of in his own way, or maybe it's just again to forward the plot. But I kind of love it at the end when he's kind of close to death and he's like all these years fighting Charles, and then they hold they almost hold hands at the end, and it's just like you guys, it's like it's not even a matter of shipping them together as a couple or just a thing. It's just the friendship between them. It's like babies. And I really like how Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart started that whole thing with like the first X-Men film and like all the other X-Men films. And then McAvoy and Fassbender really do pick up on that. I think kind of just the angst between the two. I love that so much. It's just, again, marks of good actors like Fassbender and McAvoy really took notes off of Stewart and McKellen, I think. Or at least their interpretations, I think, really worked well with what the first two with the older actors were going for. So I really appreciated that. And just how they really picked up on that friendship. Of course, the friendship's not hard. Anyway, I just love the friendship between the two. And I won't lie, I did feel tension between McAvoy and Fassbender, or the characters anyway, of a sexual variety. Like, I was totally like, oh, here's a lover spat going on. Not that that was a bad thing, but I'm just like, you two are such a couple. And I love that. I mean, they could easily just be friends, but they could totally be a couple as well. And that makes me so happy. And I love the switch between how Wolverine has to kind of guide Charles now instead of Charles guiding not Magneto, Wolverine. That I thought that was really cool, and he's just and I think Hugh Jackman did a great job with that. He's kind of like, come on, you need to get to do this, and he's got to be patient. And it's like that's totally not his thing. Even he's like, I'm not a patient guy. Like he tells older Charles, but he works at it, and he even knows when young Charles not destroys Cerebro, but kind of blows the circuits on Cerebro, and he's like, you did that on purpose, didn't you? It's like, oh, he knows you so well. Of course, that might have helped that older Charles was kind of like, he knows, or older Charles kind of shared a lot with him. Not that he told him, it's like, oh, by the way, I'm going to blow up Cerebro in 73, but just like, or 72, whichever it was. But he's like, just, he's kind of like, he gets Charles because he's been around him for so long, and Charles guided him. So I just think the change of the dynamics is just cool, the change of dynamic. Peter Dinklage was really good too. I won't lie, I was kind of confused at first about why he disliked the mutants. I was like, are you just afraid of them because they're so different? But then after seeing it again for the second time, I'm like, okay, it makes more sense. He kind of wants humanity to come together to kind of, so they won't they'll actually come together and there won't be wars on religion or racism or anything like that. It's like, we must, unite against the mutants. And I get, I don't really sympathize with him as much as I do Charles, but I totally get it, and I totally get where he would see himself as I am trying to save humanity here, and that makes sense. But then you see what the future results in, and it's just like, dude, if you could see the future, would you have regrets? Because, dude, I guess that's the point, but the future was really depressing, man. Just the Sentinels. I couldn't get over how unstoppable they were. I mean, I get that's the point because they used Mystique's DNA, but still, it's like, you just can't beat these fuckers. Pardon my language, but you can't. You can't beat them. So, yeah, that was interesting. And just the Sentinels were, they didn't look very scary, but just the fact that they could take you down was just very scary. And just, nothing could stop it. I mean, you could kind of take them down, but they just seem to keep rebuilding and come after you. It's really creepy. And but yeah, Peter Dinklage did a really good job. I was kind of thought it was ballsy that he was using Charles's own thesis or just his own work about mutants against them to kind of compel people to be like, yeah, we need to fight them. And he's using Charles's work, and I'm like, or he's quoting Charles's work in favor of that, and I'm like, wow, I bet Charles would be pissed about that. So that was kind of interesting, and I think he did a great job. Okay, again on Quicksilver, I love the references to the reason that he's fast when they first get to his mom's house, and how the rug's so warm because he's running back and forth across it so much, and his mom's just like, I'll write you a check for whatever you've stolen. And they're like, we're not the police. And it's just so great. And I love the costumes for the 70s, by the way. I'm sorry, I'm thinking back to that scene and how Eric's dressed, not Eric, how Charles is dressed and how Wolverine is dressed. And it's just like, oh, it's so 70s, but I love it. And, but yeah, and I also I love all the things that he stole. It's like, how the hell did you steal a video game thing? I'm sorry, that's not very articulate, but the video game, not a console. Jesus, I don't even know what you call it. The thing that where he was playing Pac-Man, was it? He was playing a game. Let's just say that. And then he had like all the Hostess Twinkies and everything, and just like he had a ping pong table, and he was just playing against himself. And it's like, oh, he was just so much fun. Sorry, if you can't tell, I really like Quicksilver. And plus, I just loved his whole outfit, like the silver jacket, the headphones, and the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon shirt. Made me happy. It was like, and his shoes were really cool too. So yeah. Sorry, Quicksilver was really, really well done. Just both in terms of acting and writing, I think. I would love if there was just a movie about him and just like whatever he does in everyday life. It's like, I did this today and I did that today and I did it really fast. That I would totally watch that. I'm not even lying. I guess I should talk about the alternate universe after everything gets fixed. I kind of found it weird to see Jean Grey and Cyclops again because I'm just like, I don't need to dig. I try not to dig into this too much, but it's like, I mean, it's cool that he gets her back, but I mean, I shouldn't. It's great that she's back, but then I'm also like, but then there's the whole love triangle again. Well, I guess it's not a love triangle because Jean loves Cyclops, so it's like, there's really no competition, but still, it's like, and it's good that he gets to see Jean again because it's like he was so sad because he had to kill her in X-Men: The Last Stand. And so I guess it's kind of, at least he gets to see her and she's not dead anymore. So that's nice, although I was kind of like, oh, baby, you can't be with Jean Grey. But I mean, I guess you can't always get what you want. It's better than the other past where it's like everyone's almost dead and basically it's the end of X-Men and humanity as we know it. So, you know, I shouldn't really say anything against that. But I don't know. It's just kind of like, well, of course, this also might be my dislike of love triangles because I'm like, really? I don't like the love triangle. But I don't know. I guess I shouldn't complain so much. Anyway, that's really all I have to say. Loved it. Probably give, I think, an 8 out of 10, maybe a 9, just purely because of Quicksilver and Magneto. Oh, and the other thing I really loved about Quicksilver, I'm going on about Quicksilver, I know, but I really liked Quicksilver. I love it when he's like, when he's talking to Eric in the elevator, and he's like, so you can move metal, huh? My mom used to know a guy who could do that. And then the look on Eric's face, like, oh shit, that's my spawn. And it's just so great because it's like, oh yeah, guess you got busy before you got thrown in jail. It's just, I was like, well, and I love how Michael Fassbender in interviews like, yeah, we got to see the introduction of my son Quicksilver, and I'm like, oh man, even Fassbender is like totally cool with that, even though they can't come out and say it because of like the thing between Fox and Marvel about the two Quicksilvers, you know, the one that's going to be in Age of Ultron Avengers, and the one that's here in Days of Future Past. But still, it's just like, so many great little bits. Okay, so yeah, I'm sure I'll think of more things to talk about, but I'll probably talk about that later. But yeah, I just wanted to get this off my chest because I just loved it. So yeah, that's my take on X-Men: Days of Future Past. So yeah, and I think I'll stop here, and I will talk to you later. Go see it if you haven't already seen it. I think they're still showing it. I hope they're still showing it. It's really good. Okay, I'm gonna go. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.